You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious.
Now in the house, today in the house, we've got Dancing Dougie Hawkins is back from furlough with his magnificent wife Rails, been overseas. We'll get onto that shortly. We've got Dick from Muff.
Oh yes,
Dick from Muff. Dick's come back from overseas. I'll just think he's probably had a little more action than you have, Doug, over there, with probably the wrong people. And we've got Ivan here. Ivan's been filling in beautifully. Not filling in, but we've been doing two-handers here because Heidi Victoria, I don't know where she's got to. She's been busy, Heidi Victoria.
Giving us the arse, Doug, I think.
She's hiding.
I don't think she's given us the arse, but she has to come in early, and we haven't been able to do it early because she's got a job, believe it or not. You've got a job too, Doug. But
who's Heidi Victoria?
Heidi Victoria is an ex-Liberal politician, and her name is actually Heidi Victoria. I can't tell you her married name. It was some name that had 42 letters in it. She was married to a Slav or a... Wasn't she?
Papadopoulos kind of.
No, not a Slavian.
Slavic?
Yugoslavian.
Slavic, yeah.
Slovenian.
Slovenian. And she
where is Slavic? Where is that? Yugoslavia. Yeah, gotcha.
Well, it's no longer a country.
What's the capital of Yugoslavia? What's Sofia is the capital of what? Sofia. Yeah. I don't know what it is. Doug, I won't ask you.
You won't ask me?
No, I won't ask you.
Can we find a friend? Can we find a friend, Sam?
Now, first of all, Doug,
Yes,
welcome
Sam.
back. So you've been, where have you been now? Have you kept an eye on what's going on over here in the football world? But where have you been?
Went to Fiji.
Fiji. Nandi?
Nandi. We pulled into Nandi. Landed in...
Pulled in? How was that, boat? We're in a boat.
We flew in.
Oh, yeah.
We landed in Nandi. We had a 2-hour bus trip, which I wasn't too excited about.
To where?
To a place called Warwick.
Warwick.
W-A-R as in wall, and Wick as in W-I-C-K, resort.
Is that like Warwick? Warwick?
Yeah, Warwick, yeah.
So why did you go to Fiji,
resort.
Doug? Someone told you this was the place to go?
Not really, no.
Why,
Hundale, sweetheart, declared that I would have to go as well. It wasn't over.
Did she Google places of interest to go?
Yes, she did, Sam, and she Googled Warwick Resort. It was a very very nice resort.
Idyllic?
Sorry?
Idyllic.
Special?
Yes, special, that's right. It was idyllic.
So anyway, just to touch on the resort, the tucker was pretty good.
Tucker?
Yeah, the food was
the
okay.
Cuisine?
Yeah.
Was it local Fijian cuisine? Local Fijian cuisine?
What's that, Dick?
Local Fijian cuisine?
Yeah, very much local Fijians.
Yeah.
We sat around
Dick,
the pool and...
they brought it in from Bulgaria. Of course it was fucking
they
local.
chopped it up on the...
Yeah.
Actually went to a village and they did chop up a lot of meat. It's another
Did you have the
story.
carver? That's a traditional drink.
I had a little crack at the carver.
What do you think of that,
It tastes a bit like a bit of muddy water.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's right.
Is that a way to describe it?
I've been to Fiji.
You've drunk a bit of muddy
So I
water.
drank a bit of muddy water and about 2 litres of that one night. Had a bit of a crack at that.
I just ask you, so
Yes, Sam.
Raylene said to you one day,
We're going to
Doug,
Fiji.
we're going to Warwick.
We're going to Warwick Resort. I've done
And
a bit of
you said-
research.
Yep.
One of my great Bradbrook mates, Mickey Hewitt, and his wife Jill come along as well. The four of us went.
4 of you. I see. It was a...
So it was a...
And do they have beaches there? So what do you eat
They
there?
had beaches there, but they had a lot of venomous sea snakes.
I see. Venomous, yep.
Yeah, and sharks. Not the
Sounds
great whites, but
like
little...
a fantastic place to go, Doug. So
You
Doug,
can't go in too deep.
The
If you
four-
got around your knees.
So
Go
the
on, Sam.
4 of you went to Fiji, to
Yeah.
Warwick, or Warwick, and they've got a beach. Is it a village, or is it just where you relax with the family? Is it?
You can relax with the family. They separate the pool as an adult's pool.
Oh.
And then they have a kids' pool with their families down the other end. Mm-hmm. Yep. So if you want to get away from that, you can just sneak away.
Do they have one of those bars that you can swim up to?
Yeah,
and
swim
order
up,
your drink?
yeah,
Oh, that's
100%.
nice.
So you sat round the pool, and then what else did you do?
Did you meet the chief of the
Chieftain?
We went shopping at the local shopping centre. Which was 4 shops.
Woolworths or
4 shops.
what was it?
4 shops.
There are 4.
Kmart there.
4 little shops.
7-Eleven.
Super cheap autos.
I'll be totally honest here. I thought we're going to some sort of plaza where there'd be a big setup.
There was a lobby and everything.
It was a basic street corner with 4 shops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they sold Nike stuff and they sold
That's
stuff.
where they make most of it over there in the sweatshops. We get the hats that you've just signed, MichaelChristianMenswear.com. You've just signed the signature hats with your number 7 on them.
Made in Fiji.
And we got the people I know, someone from Nike, they said that's where we get all our gear made from all over the world at the sweatshops. So Mick's got these hats made by the people probably down the road who make
Where's
the
Mick,
hats.
Sam? In Hobart?
Yeah, he's in.
I'm going there Friday. Yeah.
What? He's not in Hobart, I don't think.
I'll go see him Friday.
Yeah, I don't think he's in Hobart.
Oh, he's not in Hobart.
I think he's in Launceston.
Okay. It's
I
not-
don't know, but he'd drive up
He
to
would
see
know.
you. Yeah, he would know where he is. So you're going down. So you're going on Friday to speak at something?
We're going over there for a charity event.
Yeah, good.
Me and Peter
Peter.
Dacos.
Oh,
He's up his ante a
when
little
you
bit.
said Peter, I
You reckon he charges these? No, we can't. No, it's all right.
Can't say that.
He's upped his ante a little bit, and so he should.
So he
his
should
game.
for the boys.
He's one of the greats.
Who?
Peter.
Dacos.
Yeah, what he's upped his ante with speaking engagements. Supply and
Folder's
demand.
gone a little bit more, more folded.
Inflation, maybe.
No, that's
Cost of living crisis, mate.
that's fair enough. No. Number 35, the 3 of the boys, 3 of them signed the jumper, and that's pretty precious if you're a Collingwood supporter.
yeah.
Josh, Nick, and the great
So I
Macedonia
wanted to
Marvel.
retain
So where
Peter.
were we talking about? Fiji. We
Yeah, no, we were. I just say I wanted to retain Peter to come and speak at maybe the reunion of the podcast or something.
Yeah.
How much would I have to? What is he charging just for
Oh,
speaking?
you do it special for you, Sam.
Yeah. Okay. Well, say he wasn't
Half
doing.
price.
So what? So half price would be what?
You're not going to get me here. Look at him. Hey, Dick.
He's red
Trying to
hot.
hold you
Red
there,
hot, red hot.
Sam's looking at me. He's going, "Come on, give it to me." Look, I'm not going to give it. You know, I'm too clever for that.
Yeah, I know you're very clever.
Thank you.
You were saying a reunion of the podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We get all the people back who
Would they
left
come?
us. We've had Mick Sheehan,
Yep.
and we had the Rocket.
Yep.
Did you ever? You
Rocket
ever
who?
hear when the Rocket was on? What was his name?
Rocket Eade.
No,
no.
what's his name?
Rocket McPherson.
Rod.
Rod Law. Did you remember Rod Law? Ever heard of him?
Played
He
for
was here.
Hawthorn.
Fox Footy.
He did. No, he didn't play for Hawthorn. That was Law.
Jeff Law.
No, that was Liberty Law. What was his name? No, his name was
Played in your era,
Little
Sam.
Rover. Yeah,
Back
Little
in the
Rover.
40s.
What was his name? Yeah, back in just after the war. So we had and Don.
Yeah, Don.
Where's Mike Sheehan? Where'd he go?
Well, Mick withdrew after we
Don't get him on
we
this.
got accused. We got accused of being racist by talking about Nicky Winmar, why he lifted his jumper up out at Victoria Park, and McLaughlin at the AFL took us to court for vilifying Nicky Winmar only because we discussed just what was the reason he lifted his jumper up, and we got buttonholed for that. So you wonder why I'm a bit touchy about all this bullshit about the
So that was
the
Mick?
country and bloody the custodians of the land, and so we're
you
second-class citizens here.
Did you see
and
that?
I, white people here, are second-class citizens. We have to put up with all this nonsense about welcoming to us to a country that we've lived in all our life.
I went into-
and the people who welcome you. We've been here longer than them, and the original inhabitants of the land. We have to sort of cede. Custodians means. If you're a custodian of something, it means that you are charged with looking after the land. Who has looked after the land before we got here? Looked after it. What's that mean?
Yeah.
Just
They
dwelt
did
on
nothing.
it.
They did nothing.
No, well, I'm not just saying. We are all Australians, and we've all
sure, no one's
put
arguing.
into making this country what it is, and to be browbeaten about being a second-class citizen at
In your own
every
country.
function is just, it is so much nonsense. But
Have you seen the poster?
Winmar, well, how did I get onto that?
How did what?
How did I get
did you get
onto
onto
it?
it?
How did I get onto that?
There's
a
something about the podcast having a
Mick Sheehan.
reunion.
Oh, yeah,
Mick said he's going to get out of this. And
No,
I've had
Mick
enough.
Sheehan got out of it because he was accused of being a racist, like we all were. But Don and I stuck fat. We said, no, we're not copping that. So we sued the people, the bloke who took the photograph of Nicky Winmar lifting his jumper up, a bloke called Wayne Ludley. We sued him for slander, and we got vindicated and won, and he apologised and said that he was a liar about what he said about us, and we have the headlines here if you're worrying about me saying that. He admitted to lying about us. Anyhow...
Seen this poster around, Sam? It's called National Reconciliation Week, and it was at Kmart. I couldn't believe it. I've never seen a political poster at Kmart.
Now,
Yep, it was at Kmart. You know? And
Now, I've got
there. Have a look at that. Yeah, that's what it looks like, mate.
question for Dougie. We had Cody Waitman in last week, the young fella from the Bulldogs.
Yeah, he broke his elbow, didn't he, or something?
Yeah.
They're forcing that.
Lovely young bloke.
Righto.
Yep,
Well-
great kid.
And wearing the famous number 3 from Ted Whitten and Chris Grant.
So he came in here with Joe Maguire, and I didn't know who Cody was, and I said, "What do you do?" He said, "I play football." I said, "What?"
Who are you? Said, who are you?
In the NFL, and he said, "No." He said, and I said, "Oh,
Did not.
He did.
I did."
And we spoke about him the week before.
And he's a very good boy, a very good man.
Lovely
We
boy.
sat him down here, and he's broken his elbow 3 times and had it restructured.
Reset.
And
I listened to that one.
so I
over in
didn't
Bangkok.
quite know who Cody was. Mind you, I didn't know who Ben Mackay was, who's the highest paid player in the league. Did you know that?
This is the boy at Carlton.
No, the boy
At North. That's his brother at North.
at what?
No, don't look at me.
Where's Ben? Ben?
Ivan.
Yes.
Ben. There was I think it's Ben
Essendon,
at
isn't
North.
he?
Ken. Yeah. There's a bloke at Carlton, Harry.
Harry
Mackay's at Carlton, and Ben Mackay's at North Melbourne.
No, hang on. Go on.
And I reckon Ben Mackay's is the one that's highest paid. Harry will go past him at some stage. I think that, but I'm
He's the
pretty
highest
sure
paid
it's Ben.
player at the moment, is he?
Who's that, Dick?
The Mackay fellow.
Yeah, both very good.
Ben Mackay plays for who?
He's now with North Melbourne.
Is he?
And Harry's at Carlton.
Carlton.
Was he at Essendon?
He come from somewhere else, Sam, and I can't recall what club he had come from to go to North.
Ben Mackay had said in the listings of, because we were talking about the highest paid sportsmen, in all sports, like
Boxing.
basketball, boxing and all that, and tennis
Tennis.
players and soccer players, and then we got onto the AFL, and the top of the list was a bloke called Ben Mackay, and I thought he played for Essendon. He doesn't play for Essendon.
No, I don't think so,
Okay,
Sam.
well, he's
am I right or not?
1.5
Ivan.
million he's
Quick
on.
Google there, I-
Harry
What?
Mackay is Carlton.
No, not Harry. Ben.
Ben's
Ben
at North.
Mackay.
Ben Mackay.
Let's have a look at that, mate.
I tell you, Sam, you might be right. You know,
Quick fact
he might have
check.
left North and gone to Essendon.
I don't know, Doug. I didn't even know who Cody
what?
Cody Waitman was.
I apologise to you, Sam. I reckon you're right.
I don't
North
know.
Melbourne.
Take
Ben
that
Mackay,
back.
North Melbourne.
Take that back, Sam.
North.
Is it North? Is he?
Yep, North.
Is he?
Okay. Were we saying 1.5 million was the salary?
Well,
what
he.
he's getting?
You know where did he come from, Ivan? Originally, he was obviously been.
I only know the headlines. Sorry,
No,
Sorry, mate.
not local club or country club. He come from another club to go to North Melbourne.
Yep.
Do we know that one, Ivan? I'm pretty sure that's the case. And he's on 1.5 million.
Yep.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, a lot of shekels there.
That is a lot of money.
Mackay,
a lot of trips to Fiji.
Mackay is set to be the league's highest paid player in 2024 with a front-ended contract worth up to 1.5 million. Yeah, that's what the AFL have said.
His brother's the one who's kicking can be very, very scrappy.
Yeah, he's a scrappy player.
Big kid. Him and Kerr now are a very, very dangerous forward structure together.
Yep.
Well, I reckon we said he came from Essendon last time.
He might have, Sam. He might have come from Essendon to North, but he's definitely... You hadn't really swinging then.
Yep.
But I'm pretty sure he's the Kangaroos.
Yep. Did you
And
see...
they're struggling, aren't they, the Kangaroos? Did they win a game when I've been away?
No.
They won a game, the Kangaroos?
No. Now, did you
I'm
see
looking through my
the
notes,
fan?
So go ahead.
Yes.
The Collingwood fan. I don't know if you got this beamed into Fiji, but Collingwood played the Eagles.
Yep.
And the ball went over the fence, and the guy from Collingwood grabbed the head
I saw that.
Yeah, the West Coast Eagles player. To me, look, there's nothing in it, but the wash up with that is. And
What did he get? What did the AFL give him?
The rest of the year off from the footy matches.
He got a year suspension.
He got a year. Yeah.
The AFL out of control.
You saw
the
that.
AFL are out of control. They are so
A year.
Yep, 1 year. Yep.
They
And he can't go to the women's league either.
It's being run
Probably done him
by
a favour.
substandard people who are not competent to run the competition. That's men and women alike.
Why is that?
Because they are hell bent on this feigned virtuosity. It is pathetic.
Virtue signalling?
To virtue signalling woke bullshit that they carry on with. They worry about everything except running the game properly. If you could say that man deserves to have... He was a tattooed man, and the contrast between him roughing up a boy's head and giving the football back as opposed to the clean-cut boy that was playing the game, there is diversity and inclusion at your doorstep, and yet you penalise someone for... to do that, it just shows you who is running the game. It is honestly, it is pathetic, woke, virtue signalling dickheads. It is extraordinary, and it goes on and on and on.
It infects every level of society.
Did that happen in your day? Did
Look, we don't want the public manhandling the players, but if you just got to look at every situation on it. And so someone got 5 weeks for a homosexual.
3 weeks.
I think they just got 5 for another
Finland,
one.
there's
There's
another
a
one.
second one has come. And you might
5
say, well,
weeks?
if you didn't learn your lesson after the first one, but what the hyperbole of calling someone and making a homophobic slur. So, all right, so we take the point, but so if you're gay, right, that means that you have sex with or go out with people of the same sex. Men go out, boys go out with boys, men go out with men. If you're a heterosexual, it doesn't. So I'm putting to you, Doug, if you were yelled out by a player on a football ground and they'd said, you are a heterosexual fuckstick, Doug, you are a heterosexual fuckstick. That is, would someone who said that to you...
Would I be offended?
No, well, would you wouldn't be? Would you be offended? And would you consider that to be a gender-based slur? Could you get suspended for calling someone a heterosexual fuckwit?
Of course, heterosexual people don't have a problem with that, do they?
So
why would a gay person have a problem being called the F word?
well, but
Because they call themselves that.
Yeah,
but
we're all
hang-
different,
no,
aren't we?
but
We're all
hang-
different.
no,
Some
but
people
hang
can
on,
take offence to
hang
it.
on.
Yeah.
This
whole culture of offence.
To call someone on a football field to make a, that doesn't mean you're not saying that they are. It's just a throwaway line.
It's just a curse.
And if someone called you a heterosexual fuckwit or a asshole, what is the difference?
I wouldn't care 1 inch, Sam. Seriously, I wouldn't
but you
care
get
1 inch.
5 weeks. And
Yeah,
5 weeks.
it was 5 weeks. Yep, Will
So-
Power it was.
No, this was
So
a
who-
player called another
Is
player.
that kid from the
Yeah,
Suns, was it?
the Gold Coast defender.
Coast
Will
Suns.
Power has been handed 5 games suspension by the AFL for making a slur, homophobic slur
5
against
weeks?
against a Brisbane player.
So the guy wasn't gay. He just said, "Hey, get out of my way, you F."
Could be. Yeah,
Or whatever.
they don't go
Who was
into
the
the.
player?
They don't.
It's just
I
like,
think it was
get
a
out of my way,
player from-
dickhead or something.
Who
It's
Brisbane-
just-
Was it Charlie?
popular.
Wasn't Charlie?
This whole culture of offence,
Charlie,
and the fact that we give into it, it just shows how this
bloke in the
Marxism This Marxism has taken control of everything.
So
No,
the
I
tattooed
don't. I'll get it
man
for you.
gets suspended for a year for honestly the most passive and pure, the most passive and
What happened there, Sam?
He roughed his hair up. The ball went over the over the boundary.
Yep.
And he got the ball, and he was giving it back to him, and he just roughed his hair up, and he was smiling, and he was just. It was just a. He was just. It was.
So this is a punter we're talking about.
It's a punter over the fence.
We just did that and got a year's suspension.
Yeah, he did.
That's ridiculous, mate.
Do you know they don't?
It's in the paper today. Yeah. I'm sorry, the season over for the Pies fan.
Yep.
Rubbed out. There's a bloke just rubbing his head, hands the footy
There
back.
he is there.
I didn't think there was much in it.
I
There was
didn't think
nothing
that. But
in-
you're right, Sam. You don't want the public touching the players.
No.
That's fine. But there's horses for courses, isn't it? That's not much.
It was
in
good
that.
natured, surely.
Very good natured.
Bit of fun.
Not much in
Anyhow,
that.
being
What's wrong with
run
people?
by, being run by.
You know, when you travel overseas, you realise we do live in we're very lucky here in this country. We do have a really great society in many ways. We're pretty affluent compared to the rest of the world. But these ridiculous laws, these ridiculous politically correct bullshit about just about everything, just makes you sick. And then when you travel overseas, you realise they don't have any of that. If someone's playing sport in Thailand or Fiji, someone messes someone's head, no one gives the slightest shit. Or if someone uses a word like F or N, they're like, whatever.
Anyhow, so, Jesus,
Too many topics.
there is too many. The hypocrisy of this competition is extraordinary. They won't let Wayne Carey become.
A legend.
They've completely disbarred him from anything to do with the media
Why?
because they all stood around and did a nice circle jerk about violence against women. Fantastic! That's what an obvious, bleeding obvious cause to get involved with that we don't do. But yet they have a statue of Nicky Winmar standing over in. Outside Optus Oval, who's been up on a police charge of assaulting.
Yep.
We've got Danny Laidley, who is fated when she goes to the Brownlow and has applied for jobs to coach the AFWL football side. She's been she was up on a similar charge. They said, oh, well, she's apologised and she's remorseful. Well, that's fine. Everyone's remorseful. Wayne Carey's remorseful, I'm sure, of what he did. It is the
Double
hypocrisy of it is palpable, Doug. And honestly, the people running this competition, you just go through the people, men and women alike, and have a look who's running it and have a look at their credentials and what they stand for and who they are. You won't believe it. And this is why this is why we put up with this nonsense week in, week out. And the media are just about, we have the cow-eyed people that look down the lens of a camera and say, oh, yes, it's good. They don't believe one word they say. I could name them and I know them well. I've been out with them. I've been in their company. I know exactly who they are. And they look down the line and they've got the big cow eyes and they are such sycophants to the organisation they are. That they kowtow to, and no one's got any guts to push back on this stuff. It's just
Are we
nonsense.
talking past players, Sam, are we? Or
We're talking about commentators and people on shows.
Why do they kowtow so much? Because they'll lose their jobs.
Because they are complicit. They are sycophantic to the organisation
Like
without
collaborators.
actually having a
it's the
soul
gravy
or
train.
a spine
Yeah, of
and
course,
saying something. They
the
got
same in
their
the arts.
snouts in the trough. And it is
And this is how this
it's good to have
ideology...
standards, but at some stage say, well, hang on a minute.
And this is how
all
this
is just nonsense.
And this is how this ideology becomes so prevalent, because no one has the guts to stand up to it apart from someone like Sam.
Yeah. No,
Well, you wouldn't
not
get a
someone
game. You
like
wouldn't get
me.
a gig, Sam. You
No,
wouldn't get a
not
gig
someone
back in the
like
in
me.
the
It's
media.
just the majority of people just put up with all this nonsense. It's going to swing back soon. People are going to not put up with this. To give that man the year off for doing what he did, if you just look at what he did, not just say, oh, he touched someone. He touched. It's how you touch people, isn't it? And it's how you
whack, it was just-
and it's
No,
how
good
you
natured.
and it's how you speak to people on the ground.
But it was the AFL that was saying that they're setting a precedent for next time. They don't want this going on and on and on. This time may have been
all right. So
okay.
you set a
But
precedent. So What does that mean? Surely you could, in this day and age, you could judge every case on its merits. It's a bit like the tribunal, a bit like incidents that happen on a football field. You've just mentioned a bloke who got, I think you said, Doug, not putting words in your mouth, but you just said a bloke has got paid $500,000, never played a league game because he got concussion. If you don't think people are going to exploit, I'm not saying he is.
No, that's right.
But if you don't think people are going to, when they get tackled, fall down heavily and pretend that they've got concussion, A, to get a free kick, and B, to actually have some, they're going to exploit the whole thing. It's just, it is nonsense. It's like paying people $5,000, women $5,000 if they can say that their partner's manhandled them. Now, where does that start and end? Well, I mean, honestly and truly, it is.
It's all victim culture.
But I disagree. That $500,000 to the young fella, that's it doesn't matter whether he's played a game of football.
Driscoll, yeah.
Yep. They've
what's going on here?
Gifted him $500,000. Well, not gifted him, but they've given him $500,000. He won't be able to play any sport if he's good at soccer or cricket. Yeah.
Maybe
contact
sport.
Maybe cricket, but
there
goes his career.
When you hit a soccer ball, Doug, that's banging your head on something. That's worse than getting belted half the time.
Ivan, correct.
If you head the ball in soccer 20 times a day, do a header when it's hit at you hard, the ball, and
it's wet.
And it's wet. It is
rain around a bit.
To say that a boy's career has been cut short by one concussion incident and give him who the advocates and the people who put this up, that they're all in it for the wrong reasons.
You think that it's just namby-pamby him, like that he really isn't that seriously injured?
I'm not talking about him. I'm just saying
this kid wouldn't want to not play. I mean, we know that. We here know that. There's a kid, 19, just been drafted 6 months ago. This Aidan Driscoll. Do you reckon he doesn't want to play?
Of course he wants to play.
So he's being told by
doctors,
clubs and maybe some AFL influence as well, Sam.
If you play
he hasn't played a game yet.
If you play a contact sport, there is a duty of care before you sign on that it is a contact sport, and there might be some personal danger to your playing, and unless you are not maliciously hit from behind or king hit, there is a duty of care if you sign on to play a contact sport. So buyer beware. That doesn't mean you have to put up with snide and untoward incidents and people king hitting you and kicking you and all that. But in the course of a game, if you get slung to the ground or someone accidentally collides with their shoulder into your head in the course of the split-second movement, free kick, sure, but honestly, it goes on and on as though we're at the Nuremberg war trials. It's extraordinary. And
it is, isn't it?
As I say, the media, the people who comment on it, they have no spine or backbone at all to push back on some of this stuff and say, now hang on a minute, because they're all shit scared of not
saying the wrong thing.
No, just of not having a free entree into all the interviews and all the blood.
The gravy, yeah.
It is just the snouts in the trough.
Yep.
It
ruins the game if they do that.
On the back of that, are we able to talk about? We're talking about the Bulldogs. This kid, one of the favourite sons of the Bulldogs, he may not play again.
Tony Liberatore's boy, Tom.
Correct, Sam. Correct.
And he for what reason? Because
he's had 4 or 5 concussions this year on the back of a fair few in his career. And just recent times, he came back from an injury where he appeared to stumble and collapse in the middle of Marvel. Yep. Now, it might have been against Essendon. I think it was against Essendon. And then he came back and played a game, and then last week or the week before that, he got whacked in the head again. Yes. So I'm suggesting, and I may be off the mark here, but I don't think he'll play again.
Yeah,
he wants to. He'll want to.
Whose call would that be?
Well,
surely it's not.
It'd be.
Well, it wouldn't be the player because Tom would want to play.
He's a warrior. He's a warrior.
Having said all what I just said before, if Tom Liberatore this is about the 5th or 6th time
this year.
In deference to that boy's mental acuity and health and for his ongoing life, I would absolutely say he shouldn't play again. And I think that is a responsible thing to do. A responsible thing to do is to have a look at how many times he's had concussion. And I think that is absolutely responsible for the governing body, the AFL. If they've said no, Tom, that is it. I agree with that.
Sam, the question I'll put back to you now, Liberatore has no say in it.
Well, so...
Does he have any say in it? Because he will want to play. I know what he's like.
So the logical extension, Doug, is if you said he staggered a couple of times and if he got hit again out on the field and he died, or he had a coronary occlusion, or he had an aneurysm on the ground and they brought out the stretcher and the ambulance and they put him off and they'd found that this is not Tom necessarily, but there's any... You have to protect the competition. You have to protect the sanctity and the ethics and the governance of the competition. I mean, seriously, I'm not but as for the man roughing the boy's head up over the fence, as for the homophobic slur, maybe the clubs could take their players aside and say, mate, there's been 2 incidents now of homophobic slurs and people getting suspended. If the club takes responsibility for their players without the governing body stepping in and showing how woke and how bloody... How Jesus, it annoys me. And
we can tell, mate.
No, it's
no, I can hear him.
So tell me this, Doug.
It's just common sense what you're talking about.
So I've been a ruck coach at a very good ruck coach
Footscray?
at many clubs.
At Footscray?
Do you watch the little football I watch? Why don't the players, when the ball's bounced in the centre of the ruckman, jump up for the ball? What they do is they walk over and they stand beside one another. Then no one ever jumps for the ball. Why do they do that?
Well, I don't know, Sam.
Well, who is teaching the rucks?
You taught our blokes at Footscray and put your knee in first and get a lift.
Well,
of the opposition.
Now I think they stop you doing that now. But
you can do that, can't you?
Well, if it's subtle enough to
do it.
Why don't they jump up for the ball? I was an absolutely the best ruck coach ever. Oh, I'm saying that I was because you ask anyone that's coached the rucks what are they telling the people that they're instructing? They have no idea what they're telling them. Get up and hit the ball. Hit the ball where? How far? To whom? How do you go about hitting the ball if you've got a line across the circle and you've only got 180 degrees of a circle to work in? You're not meant to step across the line until you go for the ball. As soon as the ball's bounced these days, they just walk into each other and stand there. And so if you're 7 foot, you'll get... They have no idea what they're doing. And that is an underestimated part of the game, because if there's 40 goals, if one side kicks 25 goals and the other kicks 15, that's 44 times, one at the start of each quarter and one after a goal, 44 times the ball's bounced in the centre. If you have a winning ruck, surely it's an advantage to work out who you're hitting it to, where and why and how. That's A. And B, the number of set shots for goal that are missed inside the 50-metre arc is disgraceful. We call ourselves a professional game. If you couldn't devote most of the training that coaches have, instead of running around doing push-ups and wind sprints and all that, they're fit enough. We know that. If you don't concentrate on the most important part of the game, which is kicking goals, get a motion, time and study person in, get a psychiatrist, get someone to tell you how to kick a ball properly without running around and bananaing them. That's fair enough if it's close. If it's close, that's fair enough. But from 40 metres out, if you can't kick the ball straight without... And if you can't kick the ball straight, why don't they just practice and practice and practice until someone comes up with a forum or a paradigm, which means a plan, Doug, a paradigm on how to hold the ball and how to kick it properly. Get McKenna, get Dunstall, get...
Wade.
Doug, get all those people...
You didn't say Doug Wade, did you?
No, I didn't. Dunstall.
Why didn't you back on the Doug Wade?
No, I...
Tony Lockett?
Well, even the more recent exponents of being good kicks, tell them how they do it. You'd watch it and games are lost. important games are lost by important kicks for goal, and no one pays. They only pay lip service to it, and you see the player wring his head and go, oh, and then rushes off to pick up his man, and the coach sits in the box.
There's no care.
They don't. They have no. They have no. They have no
standards
point of watching it.
Sam, I've noticed with the goal kickers now, you notice after they've taken a great mark or and they go back and kick the goal or whatever, hopefully it's a goal, you see them watching the TV.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
They watch themselves.
Yeah, they look up.
Do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
they do exactly.
And then you can see them looking up again, and then they come back, and then they go back up again.
That's right. Yep.
They're watching the game more than they're concentrating on the game.
Bulldog blokes do that.
Everyone
I'm not going to name
does
them.
it. If you
They watch themselves on
concentrating
TV.
that little on the game that you have to watch yourself and see if you're a sort of a
on camera.
Maybe they're just looking to see
You
how
know,
far in front.
am I on the
Yeah,
money? Am I on the money
you're on
now?
the money.
You are
Did you see the start of the?
self-indulgent narcissists standing there looking at seeing, oh, I missed a goal. Let's see how I missed that goal. Look, there I am. Oh, I've got my head in my hands because I missed it. Look, there I am up on the big screen. I've just fucked up a kick, but look at me. No, it's pathetic. It's pathetic.
True, mate.
If you're a coach, Doug, you said you wouldn't allow anyone to bump. If you're a coach, and the second thing you'd say is, if I see you look at the screen, you'll come straight off.
Straight off.
Yep.
But the screens are that big
pull you
now.
straight off.
Pull you off in another term, in another language, Doug. Pull yourself off. Come off.
I've got a 4-week ban for that.
Would you let the Prime Minister come into the Bulldogs huddle after we've won
What
the
was he
game,
doing?
do you think? And sing the
Elbow?
and sing the
sneak in
Bulldog
there,
song?
did
Hey, would you let him do that? He did for Hawthorn. Down at,
Elbow did?
Yeah. Yep.
God,
Yep.
fair.
He stood
Did he?
there in the centre.
Can you believe that?
Oh,
That's not true.
Wow.
He did
Apologies.
really.
yeah, no, it's true.
Did he really seriously?
He did. He's a Hawthorn supporter, he says.
He said he is. And he's from Sydney,
now.
isn't he?
Yep.
What a load of crap.
Yep.
He's not a Hawthorn supporter. He wouldn't even know much. He know nothing about AFL.
Best demographics in the region. He wants to get the most votes, probably.
Well, he's just brought out about we're just overseeing the Australian government being in debt, approaching $1 trillion.
Doesn't sound
$1 trillion
sounds
in debt.
about right.
There's
Labour.
20 million. There's 25 million people in the country. Most of them live on the eastern seaboard, and we're $1 trillion in debt.
How much is that
Do you
per
know-
You
person?
couldn't believe it.
How much
Do you
is
know,
that per person?
think of these numbers. They said last night's budget, they said there's 13 million taxpayers.
Yeah.
All right. And I thought, oh, yeah, okay, there's a few. And you just said there's 28 million Australians.
Yep.
There's a fair few Australians not paying any tax
Yeah,
here.
on benefits and
Or on
entitlements.
benefits.
And
That's a shocker.
always remember this, Doug. It's not how much tax you pay, it's how many people pay tax.
Yep.
So it's no good taxing the rich out of existence or the middle incomers. It's the number of people that pay tax, which means employment is absolutely paramount in a functioning society. If you've got reasonable full employment, that means people are paying tax, not slugging people who actually make the money necessarily and don't pay their fair share.
Well, on the back of that, the government is giving us $300 off our next electricity bill.
And why would that be? Why would that be?
Didn't they put the cost of energy up $3,000 and then they give
correct.
you $300 back? I mean, that's
$300
just
off.
robbing from Peter
What
to
a
pay Paul.
That's amazing, isn't it?
It
That's
is
just a load of
amazing
crap, isn't it?
because they've put energy prices through the roof with all this bullshit about
Carbon.
wind farms and fucking carbon tax and and what about the former premier here? His government, his disgracefully corrupt and dishonest government,
Worst
said that you couldn't have gas stoves, you couldn't have fossil fueled gas stoves. I'll come back. I'll show you an app on my phone. It shows it's an app on the phone. It's marine traffic around the world. Marine traffic. If you use a boat, you want to see the number of boats and container ships and liners.
Thousands.
No, millions.
Millions.
And you are worried about not having a gas stove. And I see someone now just says that the climate activists are saying that we shouldn't have warm showers. We should only shower cold, not heat up the water. And then they said we should get away from eating traditional foods of chicken and beef and pork and eat insects and bugs.
You will eat the bugs.
And no, Doug, you think I'm making this up?
No.
And these are the people. These are the people who are running. These are some of the people probably run the AFL that come up with this crap. Seriously, we've gone overboard with this nonsense. Mm-hmm. And
it all comes from Davos, that,
Who's that?
The World Economic Forum. They want everybody to eat bugs, and they basically want to lower the standard of living for everybody in the Western world to a country like Fiji, to a country like Thailand, where I just was, where basically eating bugs is part of their culture. So it's also a part of their culture because they can't afford to get anything else to eat, mate.
We're just going to finish this, Doug. I got wound up there about the AFL. Seriously, people say, yep, and that people will say.
But what you say, Sam, is common sense.
They will say, listen to these.
Why don't they do it?
Old blokes, they'll say, which is fine. I'm happy to say I'm an old bloke. Listen to these old blokes who haven't got with the times and think that you can't call people names. Honestly and truly, if you're on a football field, you by no means are being personally accurate to someone you abuse. You don't know what gender they are or what they believe in or what religion they are, or if you call someone a Catholic prick or a Protestant pansy, a pansy, or you call someone a heterosexual
That's 5 weeks right there.
Or a
5 weeks.
Honestly, if you take all that to heart in a game of football, we will draw the line at racism, Doug. I think that's fair enough because we are not a racist country. We are not a racist country. People say we're endemically racist. No, we're not endemically racist.
Those people
we're just pushing
overseas.
back on the bullshit where we are treated as second-class citizens in a country that we have to be welcome to. It is nonsense, and it's growing and growing, and no one pushes back at it because of those cow-eyed people in the media who just never push back on it, and they don't believe a word they say. I don't care what they say. They will say, who am I to say that? I'm telling you, I know who they are. I've been with them, and I know what their attitudes are, and it's bullshit. They are hypocrites.
Parasites, Sam. The main media are parasites. They are, 100%.
Yes.
No, but
100%.
It comes from the fact that there's this privileged...
They won't report. Dick.
Yeah, of course. It comes from the fact that there's this privileged world of the functionary, the bureaucracy that surrounds football, say, right? This is a very privileged world, right? And they want to be part of it. And that's how they're able to insert this bullshit, because people don't want to lose their access to the privileged
William
world.
Allen White said that he was a coxcomb and a bore. Weak, vain, pushing, curious, garrulous was obvious to all those who knew him. That he could not reason, had no wit, no humour, or no eloquence was apparent from his writing. His mind resembled one of those creatures that the botanists call parasites, which subsist only by clinging round the stems and imbibing the juices of stronger plants. They are the people that tell us how to live our lives. I made that last bit up. That was the last sentence.
Poetry. How do you remember that?
Parasites, they are. They cling around the stems of stronger plants and imbibe their juices. That is, they vicariously
The parasite, the leech,
live their lives through the people they wish they were.
Can we talk about the Trumpster later?
We're going to talk about a lot of...
Trump. He's doing well, isn't he?
If you want to see how corrupt a society and how
she's been lying her ass off.
How shameless a media can
she's
be,
been lying her
talk
ass off.
about people lying. That slag of a woman.
She's a lying bullshit.
I thought she was good looking, Doug.
Two-bit slag.
Stormy?
Stormy fucking Daniels. She's up there speaking shit about a person who's going to be the next president,
yep.
just
I'll
because
get
she
you
wants to
going,
makes a quid out of doing it, and the bloke Michael Cohen who's up there,
He's a liar.
It is.
He's a liar, isn't he?
He's a lying
for that-
Zionist, mate.
That country to spend that much time when everything else is falling down around them is just. People
frightening.
are laughing at them. We're laughing at them. Now we're coming back, Doug. We've got a lot more things to speak about. We're going to do the shout-outs. We'll do them now. No, we won't. We'll do them when we come back. The shout-outs. We got some very good shout-outs, and those hats that have been you've signed from the sweatshop boys who make them
In Fiji.
yeah, they make them alongside the Nike apparel.
Is that what you're doing over there, organising the deal?
And we're going to ask you what you were doing over there, Dick.
All right,
You'll have an
I'll tell you all about Thailand.
Righto,
Thailand stories.
That's it.